Welcome to this oral history interview, part of a developing series of interviews focused on African American experiences along Route 66, centered in Greene County, Missouri, particularly Springfield. My name is Tom Peters, Dean of Library Services here at Missouri State University. This series is supported in part by a grant from the Route 66 Corridor Preservation Program of the National Park Service. Today's date is Monday, December 29th, 2014, and we are in my offices in Duane G. Meyer Library on the campus of Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri. Our special guest today is Joe Jefferson, a longtime resident of Springfield, Missouri. Joe, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Well, let's start with a basic question. When and where were you born?
I was born in a place called, let me see, I'll go back and get it, Mississippi, but I was raised in Hartville.
Okay.
Till the 6th grade.
Okay. When did you come to Springfield?
Came to Springfield in 40. See, I should have had all the information.
That's all right.
It's in the 40s.
Was it during the war or?
Yeah, it's in the 40s.
Okay. How old were you then?
I was, about 14.
14?
Something like that, yeah.
So you were born in 1930 or?
I was born in, I was born in 31.
31,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So if you came in the 40s.
Well, it was, yeah. You remember what they call O'Reilly General Hospital?
Yes.
Well, that's why I'm here.
On North Glenstone.
Yeah. My brother was wounded.
Really?
Yeah. And then my mother died. And this is what he said. But this is all I know.
Uh-huh.
That was all I knew, about life.
Yeah.
And in Hartville until we moved. Then they were settled in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then when school was out there, I was back here.
Oh, okay.
Always back here. I was back here as a teenager.
So you went to school in Tulsa?
Yeah.
But during the summer months you were back
Well,
here?
summer months I was back here, yeah.
Yeah.
I came back. My roots was here. My feet were solid here.
Yeah.
Because I had a job anytime I came back.
So employment prospects were pretty good in Springfield?
It was good for me, no. And I think I don't know, but I was just blessed.
Yeah.
I guess.
You could always get a job.
Yeah.
In Springfield.
I was blessed. To me, I go back in young life, I can hardly remember. I can remember at 4 years old back here. I can remember what I wanted my life to be.
What did you want it to be?
I wanted to be like everybody else, every human being.
Uh-huh.
Because in Hartville, the segregation wasn't there.
Oh.
Put it like that.
You didn't feel like you were...
I didn't feel segregated. Only segregated was through the government, where they had schools.
Uh-huh.
That's how come he had to move to go to school.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only segregation. Whereas the school was only segregation, but everybody grew up together there.
Yeah. How about in Springfield? Did you feel the...
Well, when I had to come to Springfield, it was truly segregated. It really was. And I knew that. I knew how to handle it. I went to work at, I was really too young, but, but I went to work at Kentwood Arms.
You worked at Kentwood Arms?
That's where I grew up in. That's why I told you I had a job every time I come back.
Yeah.
If you want my life, I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, that's good.
But I went to work there. I can remember that. It didn't make no difference what job it was. I started washing pots bigger than me.
So dishwasher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pot washer.
Yeah.
then I worked from
Down in the basement, where was the kitchen down in the basement
Yeah.
of Kentwood Arms?
It was down in the basement. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was down there. Then I worked up to the dishwasher. I was electric dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
But what I tell many people that I didn't have much. I remember my mother. I remember the things she taught, like keep your mouth shut and your ears open. You learn more that way. And she taught, do not. And I didn't know what she meant about a lot of things. Do not burn your bridges. And I knew that after growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a job where you can go back. You might have to go back.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
So you worked at the Kentwood Arms off and on
Well, I just
through your teenage years?
I worked at Kentwood Arms. I went through Kentwood Arms. Like I told you, when I come back from Tulsa, I would call the boss up. And if it was on a weekend, he'd say, well, come on in on a Monday. He'd give me a job.
Hmm. So who was your boss? Do you remember your boss?
Yeah, I remember him. Earl Moulder, the one on.
Uh-huh.
Earl Moulder, the one on that. And I said, a lot of times in things in life, things never said that should be said. I never could have gotten the education what he taught me about people. And it really did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's no, I mean, that's just me. I'm a people person,
Mm-hmm.
whichever way they are. And, you know, if people I didn't like, if people didn't like me, then they didn't give them a time of day. I stayed away from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way my life was.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of kept to yourself?
No, I didn't keep it myself. I didn't keep it myself. I kept away from people that I could feel people.
Uh-huh.
I could feel people when you're not wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wouldn't push it. Then the kids I worked with the white boys, we were the same age, we worked together, but I absorbed their jobs by watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And when one thing about Mr. Moulder, he was a businessman. He didn't let his guests go unwanted. You know, everything was taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody, and he would call me to go do, you think you can do that? Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go do it. I'd go get into that position, that was out of my zone.
Yeah. So you did a lot of different jobs for the Kentwood Arms
Yeah, I did a lot of.
back during the war years and right
yeah,
after the war?
It was done that time, and then only thing that I can really remember most was about politics of Richard Nixon.
Uh-huh.
I served him. I was the only one who got close to it.
He stayed at the Kentwood Arms?
That's where he stayed. That's where everybody stayed.
Yeah.
That was the place.
Yeah.
It was the only classic place it was in town that
Yeah.
was master host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got close to Richard Nixon, huh?
Well, yeah, because I fed him every meal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I served him every meal, and I can remember I was old enough to work into the cocktail lounge washing glasses and stuff like that behind the bartender
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And then 2 weeks before Nixon was there, there was two guys, they come in, they was real pleasant guys, and they was asking me all sorts of questions. And then I asked them what they were doing here. They said, we're developers. They was out looking for land to develop. So yeah. And then I remember once they asked me, who you gonna vote for? And first thing come to mind, I said, the best man. They said, who is the best man? I said, you'll know when it's over. I didn't answer. I was taught at home not to talk politics and religion.
Yeah. Two subjects to avoid, huh?
You avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever, the guy who built, the man who built the Kentwood Arms was a man named John T. Woodruff.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear anything about Woodruff? You ever meet him?
No. John Woodruff, I met a John Woodruff, but he was, what you call it? He was a, what's his name, John Woodruff? He was over the juvenile place.
That's his son, yeah. His son one of his sons was like the head counselor for the juvenile delinquent.
Mm-hmm. That was
Greene-
John Woodruff.
Yeah,
And I knew him personally.
yeah,
I knew his family.
yeah.
I knew his kid. And,
JT?
yeah, little John, Big
Yeah.
John, he had Big John.
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew him as he was tight.
yeah,
And he knew me all his life too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet his father, who would have been probably in his 70s when?
No, I knew who they were,
Yeah,
but I probably wasn't old enough to be in that.
yeah. What'd you know about the family?
I know about the family. I know I know John Woodruff was good people.
Uh huh.
You know, I went home from Kentwood Arms into car business.
Mm-hmm. You sold
I
cars?
sold cars. I was the first
New cars, used cars?
new and used.
Both. Yeah.
I was the first black person. Was there a second
And there was your dealership here in
in Springfield?
Springfield?
Yeah. I went there and segregated. We were segregated.
Yeah, but you sold cars.
I sold cars when I met a customer. I'm sorry, I met a customer. They felt uneasy, and I'll stop them right in the tracks. I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, let me get someone to wait on you. And they would look funny. I had to make them look funny. I said, no. I said, you uncomfortable? I said, we need your business. Just
Mhm.
like that. And I go get one, something go out there, you know.
Yeah,
Go away,
yeah. So what kind of dealership was it? Was it Ford,
Well,
Chevy?
no, I started at a Rambler.
Rambler?
Yeah.
Yeah, AMC Rambler?
Yeah, and then it went from there in the 70s to American Motors.
Yep.
Yeah. So it went from that. And later on, that was back in Jefferson days and that day. And then, you know, AMC bought Jeep.
Yeah.
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 And went from there on up there until they went to, because this man they had 3 dealerships. They had Mazda and Volkswagen and all that. And they had one place downtown, but it's been so long, so they kind of merged it all together. They
Hmm.
used to have little sport cars downtown.
Yeah.
And went from that to AMC. And
Where was your business located?
business was located on Sunshine and Glenstone
Okay.
first. That was 1970.
Sunshine and Glenstone. There's a.
That was right back of the Safeway. Used to be a Safeway right there.
All right.
Yeah. Then it went into
Now it's a drugstore.
it
CVS.
went into Wendy's.
Yeah.
It went into Wendy's. That's right on the corner, coming this way.
Uh huh.
And then that dealership right there where O'Reilly's is now, because it was Lincoln Mercury before that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we moved from College and Grant there. And then after that, the man bought the other dealer was, he was terminated from the dealership.
Hmm.
Then the factory came in and took it over.
Oh.
It was sold. And I can remember when we moved to Sunshine Glenstone, because I took the papers over there to get them signed. You know, and that's where I started cars. Then after they sold in 80, he sold the dealership. He kept Thrift Import because he had 2 dealerships.
Mhm.
One down the street and
Mhm.
one was Thrift Import and one was Springfield MCG. He sold that and he said, well, I'll get you a place. I said, I don't want a place down there because I wasn't getting along with the ones down there anyway.
Mhm.
So then I was out of a job.
Mm.
I was out of a job. Then I went to Buick. That's what I got out there. That's where I got our car business out.
Mm-hmm.
In New York.
Yeah.
So that was them days back there. But I made it everywhere I went.
Yeah.
On some way to make it.
Yeah.
When I first went in that car business, I thought I started. I had 3 little kids at that time. Sure did.
Yeah. But you made it work.
I made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to you. So you had how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 3 brothers, 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
We weren't raised together.
Yeah.
We were scattered after Mom died.
Yeah.
But all the other was older because it was 3 of us came along after the older family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's why I was able to live with my brother, live under my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you lived with your brother who was at O'Reilly Hospital,
Mm-hmm. He
recovered.
was discharged from there.
Yeah.
Then he moved. That's why he married a girl from Hartville. So did I.
Uh-huh.
Then that's why because work was so bad, wasn't no work there.
Yeah.
So he went to Tulsa, and I was here working. I remember when I enrolled in school here, and I had to quit and go back down there and see about them because I grew up with 3 little nephews,
Yeah.
3 boys. Yeah.
Yeah. So they all went to Tulsa,
Mm-hmm.
and you followed them there.
I had to.
Yeah.
Didn't have no choice.
But you were enrolled in the Springfield
Mhm.
schools. Which school? What?
Lincoln.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was Lincoln.
And then you graduated from Lincoln too.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to go there.
Yeah.
But
So
I was
when you-
always tenant there, I
Yeah.
was tenant there, and everybody was in one huddle here.
Yeah.
All black people were in one huddle. Yeah. And just
So it was a real tight knit community.
well, I'm not putting my books on, but I didn't see the way they see. Put it like that. It's painful to even go back and talk about stuff like that. It's just what people tell you what you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But don't do that to me. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah. People are trying to tell you don't play in this park or.
They just tell you what you can't do. Even when I bought my house, the last house I bought. Of course, I had enough connection for one thing. People that I saw was real people. Those are people I looked up to. And I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot by keeping my mouth shut and my ears open.
Like your mother told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I learned how to shop. I learned when I first bought the last I had 2 houses before, but the last house I bought was where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how much money I had to have down. I had learned how much money I had to be making. And what made me buy the house because of my co-workers. They wasn't buying new houses and stuff. Then I said to myself, why can't I? Because I'm making more money than they make.
Mm-hmm.
I was the top salesman. I always told them. I made a mistake just not long ago. I said, English is a funny word. You got to be careful how you use your words. And then, because you use words don't mean the way, the way it is. It's just like, I told a guy one time, I told him, he was giving me a bid on my house. I was having work done. And he said, how did you do that? Because I had all the plaques and things to show what I'd done. He said, how you do that? I said, well, you know what? I said, I would have to be, I said, I always had to be more than you. And that kind of got next to him, but that wasn't what I meant. I had to apologize for that. I meant I had to know his job as well as he knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could do his job best. That's what meant, tried to explain to him.
Mhm.
Instead of explaining to him, I had to be better than you, and that wasn't the right word.
Right.
I had
Just
to
had
prove
to-
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. But English is a funny things because you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people misunderstand what
They
you're
do.
saying.
You can misunderstand things when
Yeah.
you come up with it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what I meant. I didn't mean I was more than he was, but that's the way it sounded,
Yeah.
you know. But I just knew what I had to do.
So did you travel back and forth from Tulsa quite a bit then, huh? You said every chance you got, you come back to
Well,
Springfield.
every time when when I was school, I was here,
Yeah.
and then I had a room here, and I went, to work at the hotel,
Yeah.
and that's what kept me going. And I never will forget that. I never will forget that because I just had a room.
Where was your room?
I had one in different places, this
Yeah.
room, but
Just a room to let?
When I first came here, I came here with my teacher from Hartville. And then she had a mother. She wanted me to stay with her mother because she worked in Kansas City. And that's the first time I came here to live.
Mhm.
And then her folks, Granny took me as her child, like that. And her folks didn't like it. And that's why I had to leave there.
Mhm.
But that's the way Granny took me as her child.
Mhm.
And I guess that's the way I appeared. She was my real grandmother.
Yeah.
That's the way she treated me. And I made it.
Yeah.
I sure made it. I sure did.
When you travel back and forth from Tulsa, how did you do it? Did you
On a bus.
took the bus?
Mm-hmm. Didn't have money. I went to work on a truck with a bunch of Mexicans picking beans
Yeah. Where was that?
in Tulsa.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where it was. I don't know where they took us to, but that's what we did.
Somewhere near Tulsa. You
Yeah.
were picking green beans?
Green
or-
beans, yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's where I made my money to get by here. I can remember I come back in with this change in my pocket. After I had to get some shoelaces, and I had 15 cents left. I can remember that. But I always trust in God that,
Yeah.
would make a way.
So when you traveled by bus, you must have gone on Route 66. About back then, it would have been the only way to get from
Yeah,
Tulsa to
that's
here
the
was
only way
on
you got it.
Route 66. Did you ever stop to eat or anything on the bus? Or
No.
you ever have a rest stop or anything?
The only time I stopped on Route 60, you remember when they put the turnpike in?
Yeah.
I had to stop in Miami, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
My car broke down. I was driving then.
Mm-hmm.
The car broke down. I had to leave it in Miami, Oklahoma. And leaving it there, you always heard a black person could never stay there and let the sun go down on them there.
Yeah.
Down in Miami, Oklahoma.
So Miami was one of those sunset towns, or
Mhm.
sundown towns they called them, that if you were black, you were not welcome after
No, you
sundown.
weren't working there. You couldn't catch your sun. Didn't let the sun go down and catch you there.
Yeah.
But
So what'd you do? Your car broke down, so you
I had to tow it to Miami, Oklahoma, off the
Yeah.
turnpike. And the State Patrol brought us off the turnpike to Missouri line. It was, I think it was 16 miles from Joplin, I believe.
Mhm.
But Miami, Oklahoma was right there,
Mhm.
beginning turnpike. But the car was there. I had it fixed there, and went back, rode the bus back to get it. It was dark.
Yeah.
It was night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You worried?
No. I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried. I didn't ever worry.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody gave you any trouble?
no, I didn't get the trouble some people got for some reason. Because I sold cars in Arkansas. They always talked about Arkansas. This and that. I sold cars and delivered cars in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing here too, I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. Why would I be telling you all this? But I can remember. I don't talk about it very much. When I was 16, I was old enough to get a car, and we worked sometime till midnight at the hotel, 11:30, whatever time we got out. And it was about 4, it was 3 white boys and myself. And one drive-in, fish highball. We'd drive and get a hamburger and a Coke. Police would see us. Police would stop, tell us to get off the street.
At midnight?
I don't care if it was midnight or what. Police wouldn't do that.
3 white guys and a black guy in a car?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think they stopped you?
Because black didn't want black and white.
Oh.
They just didn't want black and white together. That's why they stopped you. That's why.
Did you explain to them? Well, we all work at the Kentwood Arms. And
It don't make no difference.
Hmm.
It didn't make any difference. It didn't matter. But
Did the 3 white guys, your co-workers, have any problem with
just
that?
kinda- yeah, they had problem with it because they liked me.
Yeah.
One thing. Because I have, since I was grown up, them guys used to tell me, say, you made more money than we did. Yeah, I made pretty good money. I made pretty good money in tips, I did.
Mhm.
Because I would wait on you hand and foot. If it took my life, if it worked me to death, I would wait on you hand and foot to please you.
Mhm. So you were a waiter at...
Yeah, I went up to a waiter.
You
I
went
went
to a
up to
waiter?
all of that, yeah.
Okay, so
I
you were a
went up to
waiter.
all of that, and then I went up to, when we got, they built a hotel that first had a U-shaped motel in the back. They just tore it down back in 2 or 3 years ago, that U-shape. And then they, on the east side, they put a L-shape and a pool there. Pool was over there, and the L-shaped pool was over there on that side. And they put a snack bar between that, right between both pools. It was going up, but I didn't know, and then some of the gals didn't know. Someone thought they were gonna get it. He gave it to me.
To operate it. This is Mr. Moulder?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I operate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you operated that whole thing, huh?
That snack bar.
Snack bar?
Bar, I guess, because I was 21.
Near the pool.
It was between the pool. It was, that's when I was 21. And then we had a bar, and we had sandwiches and all that stuff. We had a bar where people sat around
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That was the year,
So it's been, what, 52? If you were born in 31.
yeah, that was in the 50s.
Early 50s?
Yeah, it was, I think, let me see. I don't know when Steak and Shake came here, but they stayed there at the hotel.
Really?
Yeah, they met. And Mr. Bell, that was the name of it. It was out of Illinois.
Yeah, Bloomington Normal.
Hmm. And their name was Bell,
Uh-huh.
B-E-L-L. And then she had a district manager, and his name was Minnick. I never forget. They just sat around there and we talked.
They stayed at the hotel and
Yeah,
swam and...
yeah, they stayed at the hotel when they first put, that first one, out here where I live at, this kid was in there, eating one time, and he told me that the first Steak and Shake was over on Glenstone. I said, no. He said, I'm my boss. I said, you can tell your boss it wasn't the first one. The first one was on Sunshine, St. Louis and National.
Yeah.
That was the first one. St. Louis and National. Yeah.
And you were there when they
When they opened.
when they opened it?
Yeah, because they stayed at the hotel on that while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were working at the hotel, that's right on 66. St. Louis was Highway 66 through town. Did you have... So you must have had people staying there who were traveling Route 66. They ever talk to you about their experiences, or?
Well, that's all you heard. Route 66. That's all you heard. They made a song about it. You know that.
Right.
Route 66, and that's
Right.
that's why you knew what Route 66 out of College Street. Where you get from out of College Street out of the square.
Yeah.
There was a Route 66 if you want to go on that.
So they knew that they were excited to be traveling Route 66.
Yeah. It was, because that was, what was it? End up in Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Route 66.
Yeah.
Yeah, Route 66. So you had Route 66. That
Yeah.
was the highway.
Yeah.
Route 6, get your kicks on Route 66.
66.
Yeah.
Did you ever travel Route 66 other than to Tulsa and back? Or
I went to
Never-
Tulsa and back.
never go up to St. Louis? Or?
Yes, I did, but that was before they put the interstate there.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get there. See,
Yeah.
they cut off miles when they put the interstate through there.
Yeah.
They cut miles down, made
Yeah.
it less time to get into.
Yeah.
That's why I get into St. Louis.
But you did travel to St. Louis on the
Yeah.
old 2-lane road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had to start on that when we got to Jeff City too. We had
Mhm.
to start that way
Mm-hmm.
too, because I remember when school was going on. That's what was our field trip up to Jeff
Go
City.
to Jeff City.
Yeah, that's where the prison was.
Yeah. Was that the field trip to go to the prison?
It was crazy. It was good. You know where to get to go somewhere. you
Yeah. On a bus?
know. Yeah.
School bus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bus.
Remember anything about those trips? Were they?
I remember kids acting stupid. Some kids act stupid. I used to thought kids act stupid. You know, I shouldn't seen that, but I just seen my life where I wanted to go, and that's where I learned from. I learned from meeting people through that hotel. I learned what life could be. And then was a pleasure meeting celebrities.
Yeah. Who else did you?
I met. One I really liked. One person I met was Dennis Weaver.
Uh-huh.
Remember Dennis Weaver?
Yeah.
Chester.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Joplin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a delightful person. I met him. Yeah, and I met Marley B. from Gunsmoke. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
met her. Several movie stars I kind of met. Some of them I didn't hear from no more.
Yeah. They stayed at the Kentwood Arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed at Kentwood. And Elvis stayed there too.
Elvis did?
Mm-hmm. He was 19 years old.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, he's a cocky little bugger. Yeah. He came and he wanted to come down and no shirt on.
Is he full of himself?
Just asking body, you know. He was just cocky little.
He was 19, huh?
Yeah.
That was before he made it big.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was recognized because he was here and performed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was recognized.
Did he play at the Shrine Mosque?
Shrine Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he went. Yeah. That's where he went. Sure was. And it was.
So when you were here living and working in Springfield,
I lived here. This was my home. This is the only place I knew was my home.
this feels like home to you.
There was nothing else because I never had solid feet
Yeah.
no more in here.
Yeah.
Even when I was a little boy.
Did you ever eat out when you were in Springfield? Did you go to any places?
Only place you went to was a hamburger place. There used to be a hamburger place down on the square down there. Never forget them hamburgers down there. Because when it was segregated, you didn't get to go in any place.
Yeah. You ever eat at Alberta's Cafe?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever eat there?
Yeah, I met a time or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember anything about it? Was it?
Yeah, it was a, what's the name had a, who was, Ellis's had a restaurant here too. Ellis.
Hmm.
And then it was Grimm, you know it was Grimm.
Yeah. You ever eat at Graham's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I ate at Grimm.
That was integrated from the
Yeah,
beginning.
I didn't go in Grimm very much because I didn't go in place where they served drinks. So I didn't go in there very much.
Mhm.
I went around to the window and ordered something, but I didn't go in there. I didn't go where people drank.
Hmm.
And, you know, that's people drink. That's what we get their beer and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. All of his client was practically white anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah. But he was a good businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good businessman.
He was successful.
Yeah, he was a good businessman. I can remember his place very well.
But this hamburger place on the square, it served everybody.
Yeah, because you used to walk up there. It was through, you know, like a concession stand. You used to walk up there and you could buy hamburgers over through the.
Oh, it just wasn't any seating. It was just like
No,
a
in the seat you just buy 'em.
buy it. And,
Yeah, Yeah.
Cash and carry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was Casper Chili down there, but that was after segregating when I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was down on Walnut.
Used to go to Casper's.
Yeah.
Get a bowl of chili.
Yeah, because I worked right across the street because they was on Walnut and I was over on College.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can remember that very well.
Right.
Yeah, and it was so many people that in Commons I met with, and I really kept up with a lot of them. And I missed one. I got to find his son, because last time I talked to his wife, she was having Alzheimer's too.
Mm.
But she had called me and she had found him dead.
Mm.
And then we became good friends. The salesman that we had worked with, he was from Crossville, Tennessee, where he's from. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember so much about. It's not me. I'm not bragging. I'm just talking how I got along with the people that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tried to carry myself that way. And the kids was my age, the white guys my age, they looked up to that. Because one of them, I never will forget, I let him get away too. He got away. One of the cashier there, she was graduating. And she asked him to take her to the prom.
She asked him?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we worked together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't have a suit to wear. I remember I had about one or two suits. And I remember my best one, I let him wear to the prom.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when his folks was in, they was from Kentucky somewhere or another. Because he used to talk to me about how his grandfather, because they stayed on one side of the tracks and black on the other side.
Mm.
And he was in here and he was going to, his mom was here. He was trying to get his mom back on the bus to get back home. He had a 16-year-old brother left, and then his brother was in jail.
Mm.
He was trying to get his mom back. I guess he had worked a few months at the hotel. You know, he worked quite a few, but not a year. And I was walking home when I was going to catch the bus. They was walking across the parking lot by the bus station. And I said, Larry, I said, what's wrong? And he was upset. He said, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And so I talked to him tomorrow, and he was trying to get money to get his folks back to, get his mom back to
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Kentucky.
He had tried to borrow money from work.
Mm.
And I said, how much you need, Larry? I didn't have more money, but and he told me, because she had two little girls, I think, little sisters, and he had to get money to go back. I said, Larry, I said, how much you need? He told me. I said, well, I can get that. He said, well, I can't pay it back to you until payday. And, you know, and I said, well, that'll be all right. And he started crying.
Mm. I
I said, well, what are you crying for? He had never had nobody treat him that way. I said, Larry, you said you was my friend. I said, that's what friends are for. I can remember that real so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he paid me back and all that kind of stuff. But they could come to my house, but I couldn't go to their house.
No. Did you resent that?
Huh?
Did you resent that?
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't resent it because they was the kids and their parents were grown-ups.
Grown-ups rule, huh?
Yeah, because I just knew how they felt about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got along well with your peers.
Yeah.
It was the parents that
Yeah, it was the
didn't
parents.
want you coming over.
Yeah, it was that way everywhere. It was not only me, it was anybody else that was black,
Yeah.
you know.
And it was the cop who stopped you, not the other three white guys in the car that had a problem with you being in
Yeah,
the
they
car.
had a problem with us being together.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't want that. They didn't want that. They didn't know we was together at work.
Yeah.
We were together at work. I'll tell you something, man, I'm going to quit talking about my life. The jobs I had, I mean, one job, the village job that I retired from, you know, they have a march, Martin Luther King march,
Mm-hmm.
and I never forget Gene. I was driving, that's when I was out of, I told you I was out of the, I was out of a job when we sold MCG.
Right.
I was out of a job. So, no, I wasn't because I was out of a job when I left Buick. And that was when, really, that's when I can remember that. I can remember Reagan Bush was in there. You couldn't even give a car away.
Mm-hmm.
People couldn't even borrow money. Money was tight.
Mm-hmm.
So my neighbor told me, I was going, y'all, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna quit talking about myself. I got a long life, you wouldn't believe. I got a life that I'm proud of. I've got neighbors that I'm proud of. I never remember this lady. I couldn't find a job for nothing. And when I moved there, I said, I'm not moving here because this neighborhood is white. I like this house. And I'm in a pie shell where I live. Houses on that side of me go all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Houses on that side go, and I'm sitting between two blocks. Just a block there and a block there. And my neighbor said, and I did, when I first went there, I didn't like them either. I didn't pay no attention to them because they was from Texas. I said, that's 7th state too. I ain't gonna bother them either. I'd walk out, and if I didn't see them out, I wouldn't speak. So if I was probably they ended up being one of the best neighbor that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had, he had some kind of heart problem. And he got where he couldn't even lift no more than a gallon of milk.
Mm-hmm.
I was at his bedside when he died. That morning I left, I was going to Greene to pick blackberries. And I went in there and told him that I'd be gone all day. When I got back, I seen their porch lights on, and I said, something is wrong. So I went over there, and they wasn't home. Then I went on to the hospital, and that's where they were. But anyway, to make a long story short, at the time when I was out of job, and his wife got, well, she told me to go down there to the, and apply down there to transportation, school transportation. I did apply down there, and I got a job there. I got my license. And I was going there for about 2 years, and I ended up being there almost 13 years. Yeah, that's why I retired of it.
Were you driving a bus?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
I drove a bus, yeah. But anyway, my neighbor told me, he knew, he said, one thing about it, he said, I'm not going to let you lose that house. He told me. Said, but neighbors just got like that.
Yeah.
Because they could depend on me, things they couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had a guy come out and I was over there cutting this yard, and I got mad. It was a black guy. He said, you should be over there cutting your own yard. Look at your yard. And he said, if I cut somebody else's yard, it made me mad. He didn't know it though, but it made me mad. Because he didn't know why I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why, because he couldn't do it, He couldn't cut his own yard, and I knew that, so. But I didn't want to tell the guy, mind your own business. I didn't want to tell. But that's the way my neighbors were.
Yeah.
Then I got a neighbor. I got one is closer than brothers, I guess, could ever be. They ain't got no kids. They didn't have any kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when they first moved there, they went up from nothing to something because they inherited a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of them inherited their parent fortune. Then he had a good job. She did too.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, they didn't even ask me when I had a hard time. They didn't ask me. But that neighbor, I told you over there, Santa Maria, that knew his house, hey, he died. And then one time when I was out of job, she came through, and she came through the main doorbell. And I went to that. She said, she had a handful of 20. She said, yeah, something I found on your porch. I'm telling you.
Neighbors.
I'm telling you. I'm just telling you how I feel about my neighbors and how my neighbors been to me.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't even know that because I don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing your memories and
I ain't sharing
experiences.
nothing but by myself. That's all I've shared with
That's
you.
okay. One final question. So when you were working at the Kentwood Arms, premier hotel in town, did you ever talk about the other hotels, like the Colonial? Was it still?
There's that, but it wasn't a hotel that I was one.
Yeah.
It didn't have the clientele like our hotel had. It
Yeah.
didn't have the history. Because that man was one of the best businessmen that was in town. I loved the way he handled his hotel. And
Moulder.
and then my well, you know, I worked part time. You didn't know that, did you?
You were part time at the hotel?
No.
Oh.
I work at Springfield Corners.
Oh, you do.
Yes, 6 months out of the year.
What do you do?
I'm up there where the suites are.
Uh huh.
I got a space that where I control people to be, who should be a bed, who should not, and who should, things like that. And
Yeah.
how many in the room, how many in the suite, so many in line in the suite. Then they can't have too much to drink and all that kind of stuff. And something, just rules and regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just kind of monitor it to make sure it's working smoothly. And
Yeah, but you're working with a lot of other people. And I was debating this year whether I'm gonna go back through that or not. I know because Matt is general manager. Because he tell when something wrong with me, and he said, because I know his family, I know his whole family, I even know his family in the back in St. Louis.
mm-hmm.
He said, well, if you don't tell me, he said, I can't fix it. And I told some of the guys above, over, different department, I said, can you imagine if I go to run my mouth? I got to work with these people. I do. I have to work with them people that ain't done their jobs. I tell you, I don't know.
Go ahead.
No, there's one young guy that some people just don't pay no attention to people. This guy, he's about 30. I told this story many times. He's about 32, 31, something like that. And he said, Joseph, you're just too hard on people. I said, no, I'm not hard on people. I said, I don't take things from people. I don't take tips. I said, if I start doing that, maybe some of them do want me to do things that would break the rules. Some people do, but I get it straight and tell them straight what I can't do and what I can do. If I start doing all that stuff, they'd be expecting me to break all the rules they want broken. And then most people who work around don't know that. They work around, I can love people and love people without all that. Just accept me, even when they coming back up, they need to go into one of those suites and, step out your zone, open the door for them and stuff like that. And they go to tip you and I said, no. I said, I'm not a suite attendant. And I don't accept it. But what I was going to tell you about this guy was telling me all that kind of stuff. Where I work, like under here is the deck where you stand in all the suites is like. And then on down at the other end is another section. And I shouldn't really have to control that section come from that way. But sometimes I do. Sometimes people up there ain't got no business up there. They let them by. But this guy was down the hall when I was watching him. I was laying back watching him, and he just kept me. I saw him, he wasn't right. So he'd come on down when he get past me. It's an opening just like this when you get steel rods, opening like that, but the suite's still there. And when you get past me, I'm sitting between 14 that way, and then I control 15 on that. And this guy darted into 15. He's just looking stupid. And then I spun up myself, what in the world he done? And then I got up. Then he come out here and said, hey, you know what, Suite 20? I said, yeah, 5 doors down. Then I said, wonder why it's 5 doors down. Why is he done in that? So I looked in there and them people, there's a couple of women, they was out on the deck. You can walk out and suite on the deck out there to watch the game. And so I went down to Suite 20, which I know who's in Suite 20. And they said, no, nobody in here. And I described it, and then I went down to gate 4. And I asked him, did this guy go out and describe and say, yeah, he went out. And when I come back, you turn it off.
No, just make sure I don't lose you.
When I come back, they had this very guy I'd been talking to him months and months behind. If you don't pay no attention to people, he can care less about people, what people do. So the police, when I come back, the police had him down there farther from me. I heard him ask, where can we talk at? And the 3 policemen had him. And I come down and asked the girl, and they said, and they told me what happened. That lady said they went in and asked her, and then because all her credentials was gone, transport and all that kind of stuff. And you know, somebody saw him was him, because at the 7th inning, this is what this guy do with all of the suite attendants. He'd go in and clean the dishes up and get them back to the kitchen in time. But they told the policeman that they pointed him out.
Oh, he was stealing stuff, huh?
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
I knew that.
Oh.
And so after I get past him and come back, when the girls told me, they said, well, they got Jordan for that. I said, no. And I went down and heard the police, and they said, well, because they knew me, they knew who I was. I said, well, I said, it wasn't him. I said, he wouldn't have done that. This guy's gone. You need to be there. I said, he's gone. He already left. I already checked it out. It was in there. So they went and checked it. And then one of the policemen had, because he was downstairs, he was down there before, and they knew, this policeman knew who he was. He'd been in trouble and all that. And he had his picture on his phone. He showed. He said, "This him?" I said, "That's him." He's a black guy. And that was. And then the girls told me, he said, Jordan was shaking out his shoes. He's scared to death. Then later on, Jordan come in. He said, "Well, you have to." He said, "You have to. You elders or something like that." I said, "This ain't got nothing to do with my age and your age. Got to do what I've been telling you." That's what I told him. Because honest to Pete, if I hadn't been watching that guy, he wouldn't have had a leg to stand on. He wouldn't have. He'd just been accused of stealing that woman bill for him and all that kind of stuff. He'd have been accused for that. But I knew better. I knew it wasn't him, because I knew him.
Yeah.
But those things that I try to point out to people. And all that stuff come from other people's not done their job. Because it's easy money what it is. It's easy to get a check out and just sit there and watch a game. I don't watch a game. I listen to it, but I don't get up, put myself up and dismantle myself when people coming up. But my boss know that.
So you might do it again next year? You thinking about it?
I'm going to talk before I go. I've been there since it opened. But I'm going to, some of the guys that I know that I'm pretty close to, but they know what I know too, that people not done their job. But them women got the men snowed, and they don't know that. Women, I love women. I tell people all the time. I told a lady at the bank, I said, my mother was a woman. I had 4 sisters, and I said, my wife. I said, but trying to do business with you, I can't hardly do business with you, because I had to go over and over and over what I'm trying to get you to see. But some of them just complain, try to make this up easy.
Well, thanks very much for speaking
Well, I ain't
with
done
us
that
today.
for you. I ain't done that. I must talk about myself. You need to talk for me some else you want to know in the city. But I told you how the city was.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
So it was segregated.
It was segregated. It was segregated, and then it was kind of a stumbling block with a black person.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, to me, they don't know how to overcome stuff.
How did you see that, as a challenge, or?
I see that as working I work for what I want. And I don't see why you should deny me what I want to buy. That's the way I was.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I had to go by it a different way and stuff like that. And I can't say all of Springfield been that way about me, because a lot of Springfield believed in me. You know. All right. But I taught my kids the same way. You want to know somebody got something. Somebody ain't got nothing, they can't do nothing for you. I told them that all the time. And I told them about the education all the time too, because I pushed the education.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I had 3 kids. I'm so proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you. I'm really proud of them. My youngest one had 1 job in her life. To me, she had to be good at her job, because they wouldn't have done for her what they done. They bought her out at early age and turned around and contracted her back. And that's when business started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, they give her benefits, and then they contract her back, and they didn't have to hire me or somebody else come along. They had to give benefits to.
Mm-hmm. She still live in Springfield? Or? Mm-hmm.
St. Louis.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about your other kids? They stay in Springfield?
So 2 of them in St. Louis, 1 in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because my son, I said, I ain't moving from here. He said, well, you stay here, babe. I said, well, I'm going to stay here because my feet solid here. I ain't going to get started nowhere else. I said, I'm going to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even, for some things I didn't. They didn't, only somebody I had my kids with, my sister, until she left me with my oldest one was 12. And then I went and got my brother's youngest son. He stayed with me about a year until, and then my kids was old enough to stay by themselves then. But I had always wanted them, but I was a tough parent. I really was. My kids didn't get to do what other kids done. I can tell you that. And they don't hate me either. They don't hate me. They probably hated me from the beginning, but I didn't let up. When I said no about something, I didn't change it. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. And then before they got married, I didn't ever chum with their boyfriend, my girls' boyfriends. I never, and I was tough on them. I was, and I told them that when my kids was in college, I said, you're not going to marry my daughter with you uneducated. I told my daughter, I said, an uneducated man and an educated woman don't work. And that's true. I don't know if you ran into that, but it don't. A man don't like to be put down. But it does not work. Because my son-in-law got good jobs. My son-in-law he went up in Ford Motor Credit. He was auditor for them. He was like a CPA, and he was over dealerships and stuff like that. He tried to switch me to a Ford, but he could never do it. But anyway, that was his job, so they bought him out. So now he's working for a leasing agent now. And then she's still with Bell, but she worked out at home. She only had to go downtown every once in a while. So, but I told him they need to retire. I mean, she does. But I don't know. But that's it. That's my life.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing it with us.
Well,
Thanks for
I
coming
go
in.
through it a lot of time with a lot of people, tell them where I come from, and how I made it through a lot of people that was here. Like I said, a lot of things that's never, in your life, a lot of things never said, should be said. Because a lot of things I should have said to Mr. Moulder and I didn't. I never did say it to him. But his place of business, somebody told me, said, I want to get with you, I'm gonna write a book. But that, he taught all his employees about the guests, people that was our guests. And that's where we treated them. We didn't run our mouths, went on there either.
Yeah.
That was a terrible thing I never will forget. I said I should have got his name, I should have blackmailed him until this day. No, it was, I was serving the East Side Motel. I come across with the tray in my hand. I saw a beautiful blonde lady. She said, young man, young man. I turned around and said, yes, ma'am. She said, she put a picture out and said, have you seen this man here? I looked. Ma'am, I haven't. She said, well, his car is here. And then I said, no, ma'am. I said, I haven't seen him. I said, I never seen him nowhere. And then she says, she said, she went up. First she said, be a great deal of money in it for you, $100 bills.
Hmm.
Seen him. But when I was out there, I had just left out of the hotel because I just had served them coffee in their room.
He was in there with another woman?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just had served them the coffee. But you get like me about people, you walk in that room, you know when that woman don't belong in there. Because she stays silent. He does all the chatting and everything. So, I would come inside the door and I'd watch her when she left. And I went back up there and told him, ooh, you should see him get out of there. He's a doctor. He was from Joplin, where he was from. And I said, don't go that way. You had to go down to the bottom. Take the elevator all down to the bottom. I said, I saw him when she left and went down the side. So he got up. He said, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you. I ain't seen him for that. But you didn't run your mouth.
Yeah.
See, I could have told her he's in suite so-and-so. She couldn't went up there. Knock. I said, who is it? It's a maid, you know. One of them blew both of them heads off. It could have happened. So you just didn't run your mouth. You know, I lied, but I didn't want nothing on mine.
Yeah.
And so she left and he left too, so I don't know what, but he's playing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the first time, wasn't the last time, I suppose.
No, I wasn't. But see, that was just something you didn't get into.